Hafaday, my fellow Guamanians. This build-up process has gone long enough, and I'll be sending word to Washington in the coming days that Guam's governor and congresswomen are supporting the military build-up, because doing it properly will benefit both Guam and the United States. We are generally in support of the plans that have been proposed by the Navy, and we are willing to sit down with the federal government to iron out any details and address any disagreement. The time for political maneuvering and grandstanding is long gone. There is a plan in front of us to move that build-up forward. This plan takes into account almost every previous objection to the build-up, and it provides even more options than the last environmental impact statement. It's a plan that tells me something very important, that the Navy listened to us and is approaching this build-up as a partner. At the start of this whole saga, people were very concerned about many things, and rightly so. For most of us, this build-up is a new thing. Most of us weren't around for the post-World War II build-up, and it's natural for people to be wary of change, of things we don't know. It becomes worse when we feel that we have no control over these new things happening. Believing you have no control over something new and foreign repels change. During that first build-up process, some strong words came from representatives of the government of Guam itself. There were all kinds of suspicion and hyperbole, name-calling and yelling, accusations of lying and indictments against the character of people. Now we know that all of that suspicion was wrong. The Navy didn't steamroll any build-up over us. They pulled out a chair, asked us to sit at the table, and then changed the build-up to accommodate Guam's best interests. We sat at the table as negotiators, not combatants, and we all agreed on the 4 pillars. First, they wouldn't touch historic Pogat Village. Second, they would approach infrastructure improvements with a one Guam mentality. Third, they would partner also with us in employing the best practices for a green Guam. And finally, by the time the buildup was done, the federal government would own less land on Guam than it does today. They didn't touch Pogat, and I wish to acknowledge the effort by many who rallied to ensure that our historical and cultural interests were preserved. And I'm not talking about just people within the government, but primarily the grassroots groups, such as We Are Guahan, who gave voice to our ancestors, who brought national and even international attention to the need to preserve our historical resources, not just our economic ones. No master plan has been submitted to the Senate, yet there's over $100 million in build-up funding for a wastewater system. And everyone is employing sustainability best practices. And the Navy has already started the process of returning land. I have great hope that we can bring justice to the original landowners who have been affected by the federal government. When faced with a problem, it's always wise for leaders to keep an open mind to many possible solutions, rather than just the obvious ones. We can have confidence that this military buildup will result in the return of ancestral lands, because the federal government already is demonstrating its commitment to the net negative pillar. The United States military has closed every major loop in its effort to start this buildup. Now it's our turn. The Navy and Joint Guam Program Office already did all the heavy lifting. They showed their willingness to change their plans. They moved the firing range preferred option 3 times already, each time in response to concerns from senators. I think 3 times and a delay of 3 years is enough. It's time to get this build-up started, and started the right way. The government of Guam can show unity in its support if senators do the right thing and pass a resolution indicating what Congresswoman Berdalio and I are telling Washington, that we support the buildup and that we will work with the Navy, and we are excited to host the Marines. That's the part that's significant. And I'm sure that we'll have lots of time to discuss all the great economic benefits of a buildup. But I think that what's more important than all that is what we've been chosen to do. What other United States community can stand tall and proud and say that the Marines are moving in to protect our country and our town. None but us. We have the great honor of witnessing the dynamic change of the world order in this new century. We have the awesome duty of supporting our country's defense and our allies' protection. And I'm grateful to be a part of this. And I caution all senators to not let the politics carry us away again. We've seen it in the past. All it takes is one uncomfortable sentence from a Guam senator to a U.S. senator to block this buildup altogether. My thanks to Congresswoman Berdallo, Bob Work, Jackie Fanistel, Joe Ludovici for believing this program and carrying it through to this point. I also want to acknowledge the people of Guam, the ordinary citizens who have engaged the federal and local government in this process. You've been patient, understanding, and most importantly, active during the planning of this important event in our history. God bless Guam and our great nation.